Hi, I have a new Christmas memory. It all started out, I was making dinner late yesterday afternoon, and a friend called and said, "Hey, Laura, you want to go out and see those Christmas trees you asked me about?" And I said, "Yes!" And so we went to the ritzy hotel where they have all the trees, where different organizations and businesses put up trees and decorate them. We voted for our favorite tree. You could vote for your favorite tree, and we had a great time. And we saw the menu and dreamed of affording what was on it because it sounded really good. And as we left, she broke the bombshell. She was locked out of the place that she's staying, and nobody could let her in. And I was saying, "Nobody?" She said that the only person that could let her in was gone for the whole evening. And I didn't know what to do. She can't stay with her boyfriend because of a lease thing, and I am fine with that because I'm really old-fashioned. And so we went over there anyway to see if there was anything that he could do to help her out, and he was gone. So we couldn't find him. He doesn't have a cell phone. I don't have a cell phone. She doesn't have a cell phone, so we couldn't find him. And we called a pastor. A pastor had just told me that he had put somebody up for the night before, and I thought the church had done it. And so I called him to see if they could help out with this, and it turned out the modest man had not mentioned that he paid for it out of his own pocket. The church only helps with rent and utilities that you can pay directly to the provider, and so he couldn't afford to put her up again, to put someone else up another night, and I couldn't afford it, and she couldn't afford it, so we couldn't put her up in a hotel. And she couldn't stay at my house because it's not just me. So I said, the bookstore is open until 10. And she said, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And so we went to the bookstore, and it was indeed open until 10. And on the way in, we saw a coffee shop that was open until 11. And we were thinking about seeing a movie, which I haven't seen in ages, and there was nothing that looked really great, but it might, if it started at 11, it would keep us somewhere for half the night at least. And there was nothing that started late, but the ticket person told us about the all-night restaurant right down the way. And so that's what we did. For the first part of the night, we went to the bookstore until it closed. But then we went to the coffee shop, and I had some tea that was really interesting, and that was fun. She had some blended coffee drink. Then we went to the all-night restaurant, and the funny thing was that we were all supposed to go out and celebrate her coming back into town, but there was a problem there because her husband, her boyfriend is really easygoing on food choices, but I'm a vegan, and she's meat and potatoes pretty much only. She will eat pizza, but to find a place where we could both eat was going to be difficult. And finally I just said, "Yeah, what am I going to take you out to breakfast or something?" And we all laughed. And then fast forward, and as we're sitting in the restaurant, all-night restaurant, I realized she's digging into a plate of eggs and pancakes, and I took her out to breakfast. There was nothing on the menu that I could eat at all but decaffeinated coffee. Except for a fruit bowl, a $4.99 fruit bowl. And the way that fruit prices are, I'm sure it was worth every penny, but I could not pay $5 for a fruit bowl. And so I drank as much coffee as I could. I thought I knew about another place that was open, until 2, where I could get something to eat, but it didn't work out that way. And we ended up getting lost and taking an impromptu tour of Roanoke, Salem, and I think Benton in there somewhere. Well, we had to get gas, and I got something at the gas station to eat. And we were going to go to, she said that the hospital, it was a good place to wait because they had waiting rooms, and you could sit there. And I thought, oh great, and they have a chapel. I can have worship and we can pray. No, it didn't work out that way. When you went in, you had to check in with the night receptionist anytime after 9 p.m. And I personally thought that we were at 4 a.m. Way before 9 p.m. But we didn't want to push our luck. So we ended up parking across from the prettiest house that I could find so I could stare at it, and she fell asleep, and I think I dozed off for about 20 minutes. And then it was time when we could drive her over to her job. We dropped her off, and I drove home and got home by 6 o'clock. But I realized that I had had a lot of fun, actually, driving around and being up all night. I don't think I'd ever stayed up all night long in my life. Not all night. And that was a new experience, and we got to see all the Christmas decorations. Of course, we got lost and drove around, and it was very festive. Just something that happened.